الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين صدق الله العظيم. Mr. Chairman and my dear brothers and sisters, it has been quite an embarrassing experience sitting here and with all the beautiful words and sentiments that have been expressed about me. But I know, as always, that there is, all this is being used as a bait to say, now look, we want to also have something from you in return. And in return, what can I give you better than Allah's kalam? Where Allah Ta'ala questions us rhetorically. He's questioning us. He said, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِّمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. Who is better in speech than he who invites people to Allah's ways? وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا, and is a doer of good deeds. وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, and he says, I'm of those who have submitted our wills to the will of Allah. In the question, the answer is reposed in the question. Allah Ta'ala is saying that there is none better in speech than he who invites people to Allah's ways. This is a rhetorical question. He's not asking us for information. He's telling us that there is none better in speech, that the best type of talk, speech-making, discussion, conversation, dialogue, debate is this, that you invite people to the way of Allah, and you are a good example yourself, do good deeds, you practice what you preach, and you are of the body of Islam, the Ummah of the Muslims. Everybody's agreed. How can we disagree? This is what Allah says. This is the best. Occupation, preoccupation, hobby, whatever you call it, the best Allah says is this. And unknowingly I was trying to practice it. Unknowingly. That I was trying to fulfill this requirement of Allah Ta'ala. We are all agreed that this is the best pastime or occupation for a Muslim. This is to invite people to Allah's ways. But the question arises, where do we start? And this is where the subject of this afternoon's chat or talk that I have chosen is that there is a Siddiq in your life. Find him. Where did I get this idea from? That there is a Siddiq in your life, in everyone's life. There ought to be a Siddiq. I have chosen this title from the close relationship between our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, his bosom friend and companion. Even before Islam, before our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam was appointed to deliver his message, our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq were close friends, even before Islam. But his name was not Abu Bakr Siddiq or Abu Bakr. His real name was Abdul Kaaba ibn Abu Quhafa. That was his name. Subsequently known as Abu Bakr Siddiq. Abdul Kaaba ibn Abu Quhafa, bosom friend with our Nabi. As soon as Allah Ta'ala commanded our Nabi to proclaim his mission, the very first person he thought of was Abu Bakr, actually Abdul Kaaba ibn Abu Quhafa. And he made an investigation, both living in the same city. Where is Abdul Kaaba ibn Abu Quhafa? And he found out that he was gone on a trade journey. So he bided his time. When he got the information that Abu Bakr, Abdul Kaaba, had returned, he makes a beeline for his house, going to meet his friend, bosom friend. As soon as Abdul Kaaba returns to his house, he gets the information that his friend Muhammad had made some pronouncements about Allah Bari Ta'ala selecting him, electing him as his messenger. So he makes a beeline for the house of his friend Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And subsequently they both meet in the street in the opposite direction. Each in the opposite direction. Our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam had been the foremost. From his biography we learn that he had been the foremost in wishing people salams. The Ashabas tried again and again, hiding behind walls, behind shirts, to beat him, and they never succeeded. He was the first, anytime, every time, the first to wish salams. So he said, Assalamu alaikum, Ya Abdul Kaaba. That was his name. So Abdul Kaaba, this Abu Bakr, he responds, he says, Wa alaikum salam, Ya Muhammad. So where are you going, O Muhammad? He said, I'm coming to see you. And where are you going, Abdul Kaaba? He said, I'm coming to see you. So what is the news? So the Holy Prophet Muhammad, he says, that the revelation of God has come to me, that there is but one Allah, and I'm His messenger. The immediate response, unquestionable response was, I accept. Say the Shahada, so he said the Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. This is the type of confidence, faith, trust that he had in our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which made him to get this subsequent title, As-Siddiq, the verifier of truth, the truthful, As-Siddiq. So I say that there must be a Siddiq in our life as well. There must be somebody along the line who trusts you so much, who has such confidence in you, that whatever you say, the person is prepared to accept. Is there such a person in your life? I came across such a person in my life. And I'm giving you an example to give you an idea of what I actually mean. I worked in the furniture trade for the longest part of my life besides this. Now in the propagation field, the years outnumber that of the furniture trade, but about 10 to 12 years I worked in the furniture trade. Ending off with this simplex furniture, before I started the propagation work, with the simplex furniture factory, furniture firm here in Alice Street, Durban. And after about a year of wandering around, lecturing in Natal, Transvaal, Cape, one day I returned to the furniture concern, meeting my old friends. And they all wanted to know, gather around me. They are the salesmen with whom I was working. They wanted to know my experiences. So what you doing? What's your achievement? And I started telling them. So I was the Cape, and I delivered a big lecture there, and I did this, and I did that. And they were all very, very happy to listen to me, telling them about what I was achieving in a little way compared to what we are doing now. Very little, but they were very, very impressed. As soon as I finished that conversation, and I'm looking back, and I find an African gentleman, he was also listening in. This African gentleman, his name was Tatan Pengu, Zulu, Tatan Pengu. See, I had started with this furniture firm at the end of 1939, at the beginning of 40, and I started off as a van driver, driving a van, 1.5 ton van, delivering furniture, and Tatan was with me on the van. Then I got promotion to driving a 3-ton truck, and Tatan Pengu was with me on the truck. And this Tatan Pengu had a fantastic character, wonderful man. He was so obedient, so faithful. Whatever you give him to do, perfect. He perfectly does it. And always at the double. He doesn't drag his feet like most people do. Anything at the double. Anything you can see, Yakosan, Yakosan. Whatever you say, Kosan is like the son of a chief. The tribe. He treats you so nicely. A person, you feel happy to work with. Then I got promoted into the shop. I became a dispatch clerk. So he gets promoted into the showroom, arranging furniture. And it carried on. Now, I left the job, doing propagation work, and I found him listening intently at what I was saying. So when I look at him, I says, Tata, you know I'm delivering the message of Islam all over the country, but I haven't delivered it to you yet. He said, yeah, Prasad, that is true. I says, you know I must deliver this message to you as well. He said, yeah, Prasad, it should be. I said, and your family as well? He says, yeah, Prasad. Whatever I say, he says, yeah, Prasad. He agrees. Whatever I'm telling him, he is agreeing. So I said, look, Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock, I'll pick you up from the furniture shop. You finish at 1, ask your wife and your children to be also there. I'll pick you all up and I'll take you home to Verulam. I lived in Verulam at that time. I still live in Verulam now. I said, I'll take you to Verulam and we'll have lunch together and you spend the weekend with me. He said, no, So, according to this appointment, Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock, after 1, I go there to the corner of Simplex Furniture Factory on Alice Street and Grey Street corner, and he's waiting there with his wife and 2 sons. So I get into the car, I take them home, we have lunch together, we sit down for a little while, and then say, look, Tata, let us take a walk to the river. There is the Imsoti river, just close by where I was living. So we take a walk down to the river and sit on the river bank. So I'm telling him everything about Islam, the teachings of Islam. Whatever I tell him, he says he agrees. He agrees. He agrees. Everything he agrees. So I tell him, he says, Tata, you agree with everything? He says, yes. I said, why don't you become a Muslim? Sallu ala Prasad. I said, what about your wife and children? They too. He said, yes, Prasad. So I said, look, I'm conducting classes in the Pine Street Madrasa Hall. At that time, every Sunday I was conducting classes, what we call Bible classes, actually teaching the young men how to use the Bible in propagating the faith. So I said, you come over next Sunday with your wife and children, have a nice ghusl, as the Muslims ought to have, I explain every details, come to the hall and I will have you converted. Following Sunday, he was there with his wife and 2 sons. So, they accepted Islam. I named one was Rashid and one was Yusuf. And they went to the Pine Street Madrasa as Rashid Didat and Yusuf Didat. This young man who is also shooting is just Yusuf Didat, he is my son. But the other young man, also a son of mine, he had revealed to Islam. Rashid and Yusuf were at the Pine Street Madrasa hall. So I said, there is this type of a person in our life. The person who has such faith and confidence in you, that if you tell him during noonday, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you tell him that, look, this is evening, this is night, and the fellow can say, yes, I accept, I agree. I know, not so bad, but people must have some faith and confidence in us. If we haven't got it, in our life, we have no such persons, no Muslim who has such faith in us, then there is something wrong in us. He says, if my Prophet said so, I believe so. That he had an ascension, he went into the mysteries that Allah Ta'ala showed him in his own presence. If Muhammad says so, it must be so. So the message is, that there is a Siddiq in your life. Look for him. Find him and embrace him. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.